Let's begin by examining the most interesting part of this trailer, the unveiling of Sylux, the new villain of the game. Except Sylux is not new. This is the fourth Metroid game this guy has appeared in. He was first introduced all the way back in 2006 in Metroid Prime Hunters for the Nintendo DS. In that game's story, he was one of 6 enemy bounty hunters called to the uncharted Olympic cluster to search the ruins of the long-dead Olympic civilization for a supposed secret to ultimate power. Sylux was by far the most mysterious of those 6 bounty hunters. He wore a stolen Galactic Federation prototype power armor suit and wielded a stolen Federation prototype weapon called the Shock Coil, which allowed him to drain the life of his enemies, very similar to how Metroids kill their prey. His background and motivations were completely unknown. All that anyone knew about him was that for some reason, he harbored an intense hatred for the Galactic Federation, and Samus Aran by association, and that he was a very skilled scout and saboteur, wielding advanced stolen technology. He is described as being the most dangerous of the other bounty hunters, and Samus's equal in terms of skill and ability. And even back then, he had been tracking her for some time. Like the other hunters, he was defeated by Samus and then escaped at the end of the game. His next appearance was in the secret ending of Metroid Prime 3 on the Wii back in 2007. After completing her mission, Samus flies off into the stars to live happily ever after. But unbeknownst to her, after she departs, a mysterious ship emerges from the darkness of space and follows her. That ship, of course, belongs to Sylux, who is still tracking her, and his motivations for doing so are still unknown. His third appearance was in the secret ending of Metroid Prime Federation Force on the 3DS in 2016, where he is shown breaking into a Galactic Federation research facility and hatching a Metroid egg that the Federation had captured for study. And now, 18 years after his first introduction, here he is again in the first trailer for Metroid Prime 4. Mystery has been at the center of Sylux's character for a long time. For nearly 2 decades, we have not known anything about his background or motivations. It seems that in Metroid Prime 4 we are finally going to learn who this guy really is, and why he has been tracking Samus all this time. The most interesting aspect of this reveal are definitely those 2 Metroids hovering behind him, as if they are his pets or servants. The only other person who has ever tamed a Metroid was Samus herself, and only by accident, when she just happened to be present when a Metroid egg hatched at the end of Metroid 2. The newborn Metroid imprinted on her and treated her as if she were its mother. The connection was so strong that it even died defending her at the end of Super Metroid. So it seems that Sylux has gotten these 2 Metroids to imprint onto him, which means that, just like Samus's former hatchling, they will do anything to defend him. Metroids are extremely powerful creatures, and with 2 of them by his side, he might as well be invincible. Something interesting is that Samus actually had a very positive relationship with her own infant Metroid, and was emotionally traumatized when it died defending her. Dealing with that trauma made up a large part of the much maligned Metroid Other M's plot. It makes me wonder what sort of relationship Sylux has with his. Does he just treat them as tools, or is he going to turn out to be a more complicated villain? But what is Sylux doing here in the first place? What are his plans? To try and find an answer to that question, let's rewind back to the beginning of this new trailer. The trailer begins with Samus seemingly responding to a distress signal coming from a Federation research facility that is under attack by space pirates. She lands in the same ship as she had back in Metroid Prime 3, looking freaking sick as hell. This planet, which is not named, is the location of the research facility and appears to be nothing more than a barren, lifeless rock. We see what appears to be an ongoing battle. Federation turrets are shooting up into space, and this one gets completely destroyed by a shot of purple energy. As Samus approaches the research facility, which is in flames, she battles several space pirates. In this shot, the camera pans up to show the same class of space pirate combat ship they utilized in Metroid Prime 3 hovering in the lower atmosphere, as well as some small space pirate fighters flying over the facility which seem to have a brand new design. The whole thing is very reminiscent of the opening of Metroid Prime 3, where space pirates attacked a Federation naval headquarters on the planet Norian, which Samus then helped defend. Samus enters the research facility and the scan visor is back, baby! The scan visor is one of my favorite features in the trilogy. I love having a tool to learn more about the world and the flora and fauna. I honestly wish every game had a scan visor. Anyway, as Samus rolls along in the morph ball, we can see two more space pirates trying to break through this door, and then in this shot they explode inside, attacking several Federation troopers while an unarmored human runs away in the background. If you look closely, you can see the unarmored human pushing a cart that holds what looks like an advanced piece of technology. I think there is a very good chance that technology is the space pirates' target. They and Sylux are here to steal it. Two more space pirates crash through the ceiling here before getting defeated by Samus, while at least one Federation trooper assists her in the background. Back in Metroid Prime 3, there were a couple sections of the game where the player fought side by side with Federation troopers, and it seems that we will be doing that again in Metroid Prime 4. And then we reach the scene where Sylux appears. So it seems that he is now commanding a force of space pirates. And that is interesting, because in every previous appearance he worked completely alone. Back in Metroid Prime Hunters, he even battled against a space pirate bounty hunter named Weevil. Was he working with the space pirates all along, or is this a more recent partnership? Is this an alliance of convenience? The enemy of my enemy is my friend sort of situation? Or is it something deeper? Did Sylux join the space pirates, or did they join him? After the events of Metroid Prime 3, the space pirate homeworld has been conquered and occupied, their main fleet destroyed in the battle over Phase. And all of that already took place after their defeat on Brinstar back in the first game, meaning that they are in a severely weakened state by this point. Perhaps these space pirates are merely a remnant of the larger force defeated in those previous games, looking for any safe harbor, and just happen to fall under the leadership of Sylux, in the same way that these space pirates sort of fell under the leadership of Dark Samus back in Metroid Prime 3. Either way, these two villains are now working together. Next, we see the new logo. The Screw Attack logo from the previous 3 games is gone. This new logo has a flowing silver border, which folds back in on itself, and a glowing purple center, which looks like a nebula or a star cluster, at the center of which is a single shining white light. Its shape, the way it folds on top of itself in a 3-dimensional structure, reminds me of images of black holes, but for now we have no clue what this is meant to represent. We do not see how our confrontation with Sylux here concludes, but judging by how these sorts of opening confrontations usually go in Metroid games, I think it is a safe bet to assume that Samus is defeated here, and her suit is damaged, meaning she will have to, once again, go reacquire old weaponry and build up her strength to face this new villain. But what is Sylux doing here? Well, it seems that stealing technology and experiments from Federation research facilities is one of his favorite hobbies, so presumably he is here to steal something else. Probably something that will turn out to be very important to the plot of the game. Perhaps some sort of extremely dangerous experimental technology, which Samus will be tasked with retrieving, and which he plans to use to destroy the Galactic Federation itself. The next shot we see is of a lush forest planet full of massive trees. I mean, these things are really huge. We also see alien colorful birds flying in the sky and waterfalls. The whole thing is very reminiscent of the first shots of Planet Talon 4 in the original Metroid Prime. I strongly suspect that this is a different planet than the barren one we saw earlier in the trailer, meaning that the Metroid Prime 3 mechanic of traveling to multiple planets may have returned. In this shot, we can see what looks like a bridge spanning a chasm on the left side of the screen, and possibly a tall building beside it on the right as well, but I'm less certain of that. So this planet is inhabited, or more likely was inhabited in the past. And just like in the other 3 games, we are going to be exploring some sort of alien ruin. The design of this bridge is not familiar to me. It does not look like the architecture of any of the alien civilizations we have explored in the past, so I suspect that a new, long-dead, super advanced alien civilization is going to be introduced here, though of course we don't see enough of it to be certain. Maybe this new alien civilization has some connection to Sylux, and by exploring them we will learn some of his backstory, perhaps why he despises the Federation so much. And that is where the trailer ends. 8 years after it was first announced and 6 years after its development was completely started over from scratch, we have finally seen gameplay from Metroid Prime 4, and it looks totally gorgeous. So far, it is everything I ever wanted from a new Metroid Prime game. It also looks like they are cutting pretty close to the gameplay and story beats of the previous games, which makes sense. Why fix what wasn't broken? Just like Metroid Prime 3, it will open with an attack on a Federation base by the game's antagonists, and that opening will end with Samus encountering the main villain, getting defeated, and having to build back her strength by exploring ancient alien ruins and acquiring new weapons in order to gain the power to defeat the villain at the end of the game. Only time will tell if Metroid Prime 4 is simply following the old formula, or if we will see some new twists as well. As of the time of this upload, Nintendo has not updated the official Metroid website with any additional information, so this trailer is all the information we have so far. I do intend to cover any future trailers or announcements related to Metroid Prime 4 on this channel, because Metroid is one of my all-time favorite series, and especially the Prime trilogy. Hopefully that will not be too annoying for all the people who are subscribed for things other than Metroid. Just please try and put up with me periodically spazzing out over Metroid news for the next several months. I will of course continue posting story and character analyses of God of War and Elden Ring and other games, so nothing else will change. In fact, I have another Elden Ring video just about ready to post, so see you then.